Let's bring in Jets GM Joe Douglas. Joe, as the world combats COVID-19, an invisible enemy, the like we've never seen before, frankly, what is your new normal?
Hey Eric, how you doing? It's been different. We having free agency and a small crew in for the first week. Then we had the shelter-in-place rules come into effect, and then everyone was working remotely. So I think everyone's really come together, adjusted well. We've been able to use technology to our advantage and be able to communicate and stay on top of everything.
How would you describe the philosophy entering free agency and now? After you're through the initial wave or two, I guess we would say, do you like what you've accomplished?
So I think our game plan going in was we were going to bring in a certain type of person and player. And I feel good about what we're able to do. Not only the new additions that we've added, but also the players that we're able to bring back. I think all those guys have the right amount of smarts, football instincts, competitiveness, versatility, and toughness that we feel good about the type of people we brought in.
You just were on a call with the media and you said there's a shortage of quality offensive linemen in the National Football League. And that's one area that you made an emphasis here heading into the offseason. Can you talk about some of the guys and the similar traits they have that you either brought in or re-signed?
I think all those guys have a common trait in that they're versatile and flexible players in terms of they can play multiple spots. You get in some games, Eric, things can go against you injury-wise. You have to have a group of guys that can come in and play different roles in different spots. And you have to be smart to do it. You have to be athletic to do it. I think all those guys we brought in, and including Alex, who we traded for, they can all play multiple spots. They all bring intelligence. They all bring toughness and competitiveness. We've got guys that give us a lot of flexibility moving forward.
Let's stay on the offensive side of the ball and go to the wide receiver position. You've talked about the need for surrounding Sam, not only just protecting him up front, but getting him some playmakers. What did you like about Brashad Perryman? Because you're awfully familiar with him, considering your days in Baltimore. You helped scout Perryman, a University of Central Florida product who the Ravens ultimately took in the first round back in 2015.
Yeah, so scouting Brashad, being at his pro day, watching him in live run a 4.22 40, all impressive things, especially for his size. Obviously excited about Brashad. He brings that ability to take the top off the defense, really stretch the defense vertically and put a lot of pressure on the defense. And a guy that's really grown throughout his early career. Obviously, his trajectory hasn't been like every other player's, but I think what you've seen from him the final part of this year, and even when he was in Cleveland, the back half of his year in Cleveland, you saw a guy that was explosive, that could work the middle of the field, that could really, really challenge defenses, go up and high point the ball, and really make big plays. So excited about the dynamic that he brings to our offense, and can't wait for him to get going and start building that chemistry with Sam.
So let's flip to the defensive side of the ball. How critical was it to get both Brian Poole and Jordan Jenkins back in the fold?
Really excited to get both those guys back. With a guy like Brian, he was a great addition, and he really stabilized the nickel spot for us last year. I think what he brings to the intelligence aspect is very, very unique to the position. What I would say on both these guys are great culture guys, great locker room guys. They do everything the right way. They work hard. They're ultra competitive. They're the right type of people.
Joe, speaking of culture, how much did assistant GM Rex Hogan help you when it became official that Pierre Desir was released from the Colts? Of course, he had 3 interceptions there last year in Indianapolis, started 11 games, but perhaps his best professional season was 2 years ago when Rex was with the Colts.
I think Rex's knowledge of Pierre the last few years in Indy, and talk about another player that's had a interesting career trajectory from starting at Lindenwood College in Missouri and the Cleveland Browns to developing into a legitimate starting corner in the National Football League, making the most of his opportunities. This was a unique opportunity for us to bring in a player that recently came available, that our assistant GM had a strong knowledge of. A guy, again, another guy that is a top tier culture guy. He's going to be a great fit in our locker room, and a guy that has very good instincts, route recognition, and ball skills.